Okay. We, yep. Aaron, please. Just in time, mate. Morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much for having me. So, I'll talk about 3 points today. I'm a Linwood resident. We've lived there for 2 years. We've developed 2 houses there. We've planted over 250 trees on our property. We're just starting. Now, 3 points I'd like to talk about today is central city densification and penalties for not developing, investment in Linwood, and street trees for safer residential roads, mainly in Linwood, which is lacking completely. So, for central city densification and fines, it's been 13 years since the earthquake. We're still seeing areas of derelict buildings, gravel car parks with no motivation for property owners to develop. I believe that for an incentive to build, like other cities around the world, and even cities that have not had any major incidents, they do put penalties on owners not to build. This could be in the figures of many thousands of dollars. I know in Melbourne, residential areas where they have densification zones, there's $8,000 penalty for your rates, and other cities that are similar. And I believe Christchurch should be applying an even more forceful penalty for the second largest city in New Zealand to have gravel car parks is unacceptable. And this would be in lieu of raising rates for Christchurch residents. And what we're seeing here is that the governments, both Christchurch City Council and the New Zealand government, spending millions of dollars on highways and infrastructure to allow expansion to Rolleston, Belfast, Kaiapoi, Pecasses, West, Melton and beyond. And our taxpayers' funds are making that happen, where we've got plenty of land within Christchurch City Centre, which is degrading businesses and degrading our life within this established city. So that's my recommendation. What we're seeing is car parks and car yards to make it profitable. The second point I'd like to bring to is investment within Linwood. So what these cities have in common is Auckland and suburb of Ponsonby, Melbourne, Fitzroy and Collingwood, Sydney, Balmain and Woolloomooloo, San Francisco, Mission and Daly City, and New York City, Brooklyn, is that they're the most sought after and most expensive real estate in those cities, if not the world, arguably. Those towns 30 years ago used to be, those suburbs 30 years ago used to be the most undervalued in the towns, and what we're seeing is that they are the most sought after. So Christchurch suburbs, especially in the centre, are now going to name Linwood, is within 1 kilometre to 2 kilometres average away from city CBD, yet it's one of the most undervalued property. Yet the Christchurch City Council has increased the rates over the past year of 13%, which is now, from our bank valuation at the time we built our property, is $180,000 more than the conservative bank valuation to build our house. So I think that's inorganic growth. So basically, if Christchurch City Council wants organic growth within the city and be able to reap the rewards of that, I believe you need to invest first in the areas which can give you the most return, and that's organic growth within without having to build new roads and heavy infrastructure or horizontal infrastructure, within walking distance and riding distance, straight roads with no impedance between industrial parks or rivers, and allows people and supporting growth within Christchurch City. We're seeing Yoldhurst, Marshlands and Sumner having a lot of investment in the streets and beautification of those areas, but we're not seeing anything come back within areas right close to Christchurch City Centre, as namely Linwood. What we're seeing mostly is a lot of infrastructure going to support those new suburbs. This brings me to the third point of Linwood street trees. So Linwood is one of the oldest suburbs within Christchurch. It has had very little investment over the past since its existence, of at least 80 years, if you look at the satellite photos and aerial photos. I thank you for applying the lower speed limits to the areas, but unfortunately, people are not sticking to those 30 kilometres because when you have roads which are 13 metres wide and State Highway 1 going down to Ashburton is 11 metres wide, people don't have any incentive to drive slowly. I see police cars driving at 60 k's an hour down a 30k road, setting a great example that we all want them to see. So we need to do more than just put a sign. We need to reduce, as documented by Christchurch City Council's policies and national road policies, that residential roads should be no wider than 6 to 9 metres. We're definitely not seeing that, and that will reduce speeds. We've seen a lot of development within the areas of North Linwood, where we've had trees completely wiped clean of the property and heavy development, which I'm for. But the fact is, we're getting 1.5 metre setbacks when it should be 4 metre setbacks, being approved by Christchurch City Council resource consents, without any justification of how they're going to Christchurch City Council, all the developers are going to cover that off. And this brings me back to my earlier point of more beautification, more street trees than Christchurch City Council. This encourages permeable land, less prone to flooding, and greater environmental and safer roads. So we really encourage those steps forward within Christchurch City Council spending. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Jake, please.
Hey, thanks for that, Aaron. Are you aware that it's just outside of your part of Linwood, but that doesn't preclude us from extending it further? There is a program called Greening the East to plant almost 30 street trees in Hereford, Cashel, and Worcester.
I'm aware there is something in the park works for greening and more parks and all that.
Yeah.
But we haven't seen that happen. So as I've been saying, thank you very much. I'm seeing that after 80 years of that established suburb, and we've seen other areas progress a lot faster, and a town right next to a suburb right next to CCC.
Fair enough. Do
Central.
more faster. I appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you.
Yanni, please.
Thank you. Thank you for your submission. A lot of really good points in there. Are you aware that council's cutting the contribution it gets from the new developments that are going in to areas like North Linwood in terms of our budget by about 10 to 20 million, depending on what category?
Cutting budget as far as development contribution fees?
Taking the money from the development contributions and investing it in suburban infrastructure like more green space, amenity improvement to deal with the growth.
I'd like to see that. We have had, from last time I talked to council, there was at least 48 houses within our 3 street areas of North Linwood. We haven't seen that come yet back to us. That's probably about $2 million worth of contribution at $21,000 or so per UHE, equivalent housing unit. So sure, but if that's immediately to be applied to the area, we haven't seen that yet.
Yeah.
Thank you, Yanni.
Okay. Yeah. But we're proposing to cut it, which is not clear from our consultation documents. So just so people are aware.
Okay. We are? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Aaron,
guys.
for your
Thank you.
presentation. Okay, is Harry here, please?